doing? I want to just make a point here to people who might not be as educated and who have the wrong impression of what a conservative is, okay? Now ask yourself, when you think of conservative, well, what does it mean to you? Does it mean what the Democrats painted to be all these years? You know, like a racist, a redneck, you know, a conservative, a Republican. When you think of Republican, do you think of the color red? Does the color red kind of like remind you of something evil? Or does the color red remind you of a redneck? Or just all these racist things that they paint of it? Do you really think that every Republican is a racist? Like, anyone that gets behind the Republican Party is a racist. Like, and if you don't admit it or come off like it, he is. No. Do you know? If you don't know, you should know. And do your homework that KKK was started from the Democrats. Okay? Now, they twist it and they turn it like they do with everything. Now, here's another thing. All right? Democrats always show their hand, their true colors, like all the whites in marching for Black Lives Matter. You know, they'll turn on you in a heartbeat. Trust me, if you're not part of their agenda or if they get bored of you, whatever the case may be. They're grabbing in the name of Black Lives Matter because it suits them. You see, because they needed the black vote. You see, black people, black persons are beautiful, but they make such an impact on which way the country goes. If they're on board, if they start the trend, that's the trend. Blacks are very powerful. They're very good at a lot of things that whites aren't. But they're not stupid, okay? Now, when you think of a conservative, I want you to know how I think of it and why I became one. See, just as I was a Democrat a couple of years ago, I voted for Obama. But things started changing when I realized that, like, sex, and I love sex, and I'm all for it. And I'm all for gays being gay and getting married and all that. You know, it is what it is. But it changed for me at some point when I realized that they as in Democrats, are weaning God out. And it was a slow thing, but it happens more and more. It started with, you know, well, everything offends me when it comes to God. What if I'm not a Christian Catholic? What if I'm an Indian? All right, I get it. All right, we'll slow down. We won't be so. But now they wanted it out of our Pledge of Allegiance. And Christmas became Happy Holidays. And now, you know, church doors are closed in the name of COVID. Church doors are closed? Like you can't pray? So we got our church here. But a conservative is... So I became a conservative. And it started with that. And then I opened my eyes and realized, like, wow, these whiteys, these racist motherfuckers are all on the left side, painting it to be on the right side in the name of so many different things throughout the years. When you really look at it, it's them. It's them. It's a shame. It really is a shame that they're bringing back racism again. They're trying to turn us against each other. It's cult-like. It's weird. Conservatism, to me, never mind the politics of it, but just the overall thought of it, to me, it's appealing because I think of like a woman. She's conservative in the term, meaning she doesn't walk around with her big, beautiful tits hanging out and wearing, you know, the sexiest outfits, loud and crazy and open. And a conservative means that she's, you know, the type of woman that wears more clothes or covers up more and has more respect for herself. You know, doesn't just talk about sex so freely. And a conservative also is someone who, it goes hand in hand. They conserve their money. So a Republican who's a conservative, it's not that they don't care for poor people. They're not saying get rid of all homeless shelters and don't give any kind of governmental programs. They're saying shrink it down and help the people, give them more of an incentive to work and figure it out. And if they can't, there's a program for them. But you can't just give free handouts and let the people just rely on the government. See, that's what Democrats want. They want us to rely on the government because it gives them power and control in every which way. In the name of, you're a Republican, you want to not give money to these people, they're poor. When you really look at it, all that money they raise goes into their pockets, most of it. And the list goes on. Look at Wall Street with Robin Hood. Think about it. They cheated, like they're cheating the little man. And who's they? They're Democrats, the owner of it. Pelosi, AOC, they're getting mad at the little man, like they're getting mad at the Barstool guy for whatever. If they really cared about the little man, they'd put those people in jail, whoever did what they did with GameStop and all that. But no, they're doing what they always do. They're twisting it, and somehow, some way, they'll come out smelling like a rose. All right? Conservatism isn't a racist. It's not a Confederate flag. It's just people who love their country. They love their gods. They work hard, and they love their family, and they love their neighbors. You bet your ass, all right, that a conservative cares more about you than you think. I'm not saying more than a Democrat, because not all Democrats are bad. But they care, just like a Democrat. Not all. And there's good and evil on both sides. So you're going to have your shootings in Charlottesville, and you're going to have, but it's life. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that. But we need to start rethinking what we think of when we think of Republican, conservative. Don't just think the color red and then associate with a redneck, and then from there you're associating it with what AOC says about, because all you're doing is you're playing along with their bullshit. Okay?